Hey everybody, my name is Sammy Jo and I am the sales manager here at Kubota out of Odessa in Midland, Texas. I just wanted to stop and show you guys our TLB lineup. So from here you can see that I have my B26. There is a model in between that's missing. It's an L47. I just happen to not have any in stock. And then to my left over here is the M62, and this is the biggest one that they're going to carry. So I've got smallest to biggest. We're just missing that medium size, which is sometimes right in the sweet spot of kind of what you're needing. So use your imagination on that one. But they're all going to have pretty much the same concept throughout the line. So the TLB is the tractor loader backhoe. So you have your tractor and you're loading your backhoe, obviously. But what they do on these is they make them a lot beefier. So they make them a lot tougher and a lot stronger so that you can really use them in those construction applications and things like that. And they're going to withstand being abused a lot better than our tractors that you can add a backhoe to. Another plus side to going with a TLB versus a regular tractor that you can add a backhoe to is the hydraulic pumps. So all of our backhoes are driven with hydraulics. So when you have your TLBs, they're made to be a TLB. So their hydraulic pump is going to be a lot bigger, at least on the B26. So that you can have much more power to that backhoe and that loader and that tractor, and you don't have to compensate any. Now on the L47 and the M62, they do have two separate hydraulic tanks. So that way you don't lose any power going to that backhoe because you have a separate one driving it. Now all of these, you still have your rear PTO, so you can drop your backhoe, add 3-point hitch kit, and be able to run your 3-point implements also. Now, when you go into a dealer to buy one of these, you do want to figure out if you need that 3-point hitch kit or not, because these don't come standard with them. They are an option. So keep that in mind too, to ask for that, or if you don't need that, you take it off. Either way. So all of them are going to have your universal quick attach on the front buckets, and all of them you do have options to plumb the backhoe and the front loader with hydraulics if you want to. So that way you can run a breaker off of the boom, or a grapple off the bucket, or either way. Most of the L47s and the M62s come plumbed both front and back with the hydraulics, but something else to consider when you go into purchase, whether or not you're going to need those things, and if it's a necessity or not, because it is a lot cheaper option to get it done when you're purchasing the unit, rather than having to come back later and put it on whenever you realize you do need it. They're all going to have your work lights around the top. And they do have the FOPs instead of the ROPs, just meaning that you do have 4 posts rather than your 2, which is good because that also means more safety, but you know that you have a canopy with all of them as well, so you have some additional shade, which is nice. So the B26 is a little bit simmered down. You don't have as much fancy things as you do on the L47 and the M62. You're going to have basically your same setup as you would on your ag tractors. Just, again, a lot more beefier. On the M62, though, you do get quite a bit more fancy. On the M62, most of them, or it is an option to have your quick coupler on the boom, just making it easier to go back from bucket size. They have options from 8-inch bucket up into a 30-inch bucket, if I'm not mistaken. So you have a variety of options for the backhoe. On these, you do have your hydrostatic plus transmission, so it means that you have a low, medium, and high, but then you also have a low and a high in each gear. All of them are going to be 4-wheel drive, all of them Kubota diesel engines. This one, so what's really cool and what I love that Kubota does on these loader valves is they put a throttle on the back of your loader valve. So when you're doing loader work, all you do is you push that button on the back of your joystick, and it'll throttle up the whole tractor, so that way you can make your loader work a lot faster without having to take your hand off of the loader valve. So that's just very, very convenient. And then on the M62 and the L47, you do have a lot nicer foot pedal on those, so it makes it a lot easier to go back and forth with that treble pedal. Another really good thing that I like on the L47 and the M62 is that from the seat, you can just turn around like a regular backhoe without having to get out of the seat. And then they all have an option for the skid shoes. We don't typically order ours with them, but you can add that as well. So something else to consider. And then, like I said, back here is going to be your PTO. and where you would put your 3-point hitch kit and everything. Now, the biggest question we get is how difficult it is to remove the backhoe and add the 3-point hitch kit. It's not a difficult process, it's a timely process. So I would say the first time that you do it, you're probably looking at 45 to an hour to get it all said and done and get your 3-point implement hooked up. The most timely part of it is when you're going to add all of your 3-point links back in. There are a bunch of linkage kits, bolts and pins and things like that. So the first time is going to take you a little bit, but once you get it down, it's a breeze. These do come standard with R4 tires. You can get R1s on them. Most of the time, everybody's going to want the R4 tires, which is the industrial tread. So as far as power goes, it's really going to be in your name. So your B26 is your 26 horsepower machine, your L47 is your 47 horse, and your M62 is going to be your 62 horse. So with that being said, none of them are going to have to run DEF. Now every single one of them, except for your B26, is going to have your diesel particulate filter. So the L47 and the M62 are going to have to regen every 70 hours or so. But as long as you keep up with that, we don't see that with any issues. So the biggest selling point on these is the weight of the machine, especially on the M62. So you have that power of a bigger backhoe, but the weight of a lighter one. So that way it is really easy to haul back and forth. These have been compared to the John Deere 110s, which, as you may know, they don't make anymore. So that's where really ours comes in handy, and they don't make anything else like these in the market. But with that being said, they are really good heavy-duty machines. Now, the lifting capacity is a really big upgrade as well when you go from like an ag tractor to the TLB. So another reason why this might be a good option for you. The lifting capacity on the B26 at max height is 1,300 pounds. On the L47, it's 2,848, and then 3,960 on the M62. Sorry, there's a lot of numbers to memorize. Bear with me. I had to pull out my Kubota Bible. So with those numbers, you can see that you get that lifting power of a skid steer, but not the weight of a skid steer. And you have both the loader and the backhoe, so that makes it much more convenient. Yeah, so we really like our TLB line. I really do suggest these pieces of machines when anybody asks me about a backhoe, especially out here in West Texas. That ground is hard. And at some point, none of the backhoes with just a bucket are going to be able to break that ground and break that caliche. So when you have that option to run it with hydraulics and put a breaker on it, well, then you have everything that you need still. So just super convenient machines. We love them. We love to sell them because most of the time our customers are very happy. The only time that they're not is when they get into a B26 and it's too small to do what they're doing. So give me a call. Love to answer your questions if you have any, and give you some prices on it.